Former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi's bail application has been denied. Agrizzi has no assets in his name in South Africa, but he has plenty of money outside the country. State prosecutors have argued that he's a flight risk and will be able to sustain himself outside of South Africa should he leave the country. The NPA's asset forfeiture unit also says Agrizzi failed to declare the millions of rands in foreign assets. He's accused, of course, of bribing former ANC MP Vincent Smith with home security upgrades in exchange for political protection. ENCA's Aviwe Mtila joins us now. Hi there, Aviwe. Well, it's really been a mammoth bail application. I was listening earlier this afternoon to the millions and millions that was being totted up in assets that Agrizzi has shipped offshore. Tell us more about why exactly he was denied bail.
Was something of an accounting class, Sally, with all those numbers, assets, Bitcoin money that were being mentioned just inside this Court 7 at the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court. But of course, all of it was done in the interests of justice, I beg your pardon. The magistrate there painting out that bail is granted for the accused to come to court and not to punish. So some of the merits that Magistrate Philip Venter had to weigh out, even commending Agrizzi just on his whistle-blowing efforts, saying that more people like him are actually needed. But when it came to the merits, and the big issue was him not disclosing his foreign assets, it seems like he's set up a life abroad. So for him, it looked like it would be quite easy for Angelo Agrizzi just to leave. Another issue was his health, essentially, which we now understand that he lives off oxygen cylinder. As he walked out, even just having a quick word with him, asking him his reaction to the bail hearing, saying that that's what happens when you hook big politicians, his exact words. But the magistrate also considered the Gupta case that we've seen, where it was quite difficult to extradite till this day, and quite costly effort to extradite even the Guptas now. Let's listen on what Magistrate Philip Venter had to say on that.
The interest of justice require answers into, as well as recovery of incomprehensible amounts of money which were misappropriated. The biggest headache of the National Prosecuting Authority in the, I'll refer to it as the Gupta saga, and their accountability, is extradition to South Africa to stand trial, in order to account for the allegations against them. I cannot contribute to yet another name being added to that headache. Mr. Agrizzi, after all considered, your application for bail is dismissed.
Right, so the magistrate saying he absolutely doesn't want to have to be involved in trying to haul him back should he fly overseas and escape justice. It was really interesting listening to the money trail. And it was quite clear that a lot of money had been transferred by Agrizzi and his common-law wife in a very short space of time. Tell us a little bit more about that money outside the country. Does it add up to about 30 million, or is it more than that?
33 million that wasn't disclosed. Magistrate saying that he moved money to virtually untouchable areas. Seems to have been a structured movement of the money itself, a quite planned movement of the money, even before he were to appear and blow the whistle on some of the allegations that we've heard at the State Capture Commission. We understand that just some weeks, say 3 or 4 weeks before that, the money was moved to Italy. Offshore accounts, offshore assets were moved to to Italy. We understand that he only disclosed when he was apprehended just last year in February, the 6th of February, he only disclosed 2.6 million rand of movable assets and a house worth about 13.5 million rand. But we now come to understand that those assets weren't the only one. He failed to disclose some 33 million rand worth of assets, not only then, but also today in his affidavit, his original affidavit, before he found out, in fact, that the state knew about the other assets. That's when he then wrote a new affidavit disclosing then his foreign assets. But it's another issue that Philip Venter, the magistrate here, touched on. Let's listen in on that.
The respondent, in my view, have definitely made out a substantially convincing case that the abandonment of local assets will not present any major financial impact on Mr. Agrizzi if he loses it all. The respondents have also managed to paint a colourful picture of a well-planned and structured movement of money.
This is a really interesting one. Aviwa, I believe it's back in court in December. Will he stay behind bars, Agrizzi, until then?
Staying behind bars up until the 3rd of December, where he's to reappear with former ANC MP Vincent Smith, who at the time of the money, the tenders that were given to Bosasa, he was in charge of the Parliamentary Committee on Correctional Services. We understand that the allegations even from Agrizzi is that he was paid money, Vincent Smith, just to keep a blind eye in terms of the SIU investigations that were going into Bosasa, and they were then given those billion rands of tenders, in fact, while Vincent Smith knew, allegedly, according to Agrizzi, the ongoing SIU investigations. In fact, some of that is coming up just on Friday. Agrizzi appearing at the Pretoria Specialized Commercial Crimes Court on Friday around that Bosasa corruption, 1.6 billion that we understand. But for this particular matter, I'll appear here again at the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court in Palm Ridge on the 3rd of December.
Aviwa, sorry, I can't let you go without asking, is there talk of Agrizzi turning state witness?
We haven't heard the murmurs yet. I mean, he was quite disappointed. In a video that I took just a short while ago, as he was walking out, asking him how he feels, seeing that he's the whistleblower, and then now he's being denied bail for while the likes of your Vincent Smith have been given bail. He's saying that that's what happens, I suppose. It's what happens when you hook the big politicians, but there aren't murmurs yet just on his particular plans. The big concern now was around his health. We understand that he needs at least 5 litres of oxygen, hence every hour, hence he carries that oxygen cylinder with him.
Well, thank you very much for that update, Aviwa Mtila.